Hey, how's it going, everybody? It's Timothy here with Banner Rocks, and we're going to play some more Standard today, looking to explore all of the companions that are in Standard. So far, we've only played Keruga, which was a Jeskai Fires deck. Keruga is not necessarily like a big part of that deck, but it just slots nicely into a top-tier deck already. Some of our other decks that we'll be seeing are not quite as top-tier as Jeskai Fires. They're more kind of gimmicky and built around the companion and look to do fun things. So we will see which of those we're playing today by spinning our super high-tech wheel. Clearly lots and lots of effort put into it. Gyruda looks like it's our pick. Gyruda is interesting because it's the one companion that kind of kicked this whole thing off, where people started brewing up companion decks with Gyruda and everyone was like, oh, companion's broken, blah blah blah. But in Standard it's fine, and I'm sure you'll see throughout the course of these 4 or 5 matches that we're going to play that Gyruda is extremely easy to stop. Basically, you have to have perfect hands of going 2-drop into another accelerant on turn 3. So you need ideal hands of lands and multiple accelerants in order to do the turn 4 Gyruda. And I've noticed if you don't get the turn 4 Gyruda, you basically die. If you play against counter spells, you can't win. And control decks just stomp you. Plus, decks with instant speed removal can kill the Gyruda in response to its own trigger, and then you don't get to do the spark double thing. But if you have not seen this deck in action before, basically your whole deck is this glass cannon built around Gyruda. Once you get to 6 mana, which you're hoping to do on turn 4 at the earliest, you can cast Gyruda from your companion zone, if you will. When it enters the battlefield, each player mills 4 cards. You can put an even costed card from among those that were milled onto the battlefield. You're ideally looking to mill Spark Doubles, which can come in as copies of Gyruda and get the chain going. And since Spark Double is not legendary, you can keep multiple Gyrudas on board. After which you're hoping to hit things like Thassa, which can then blink Gyruda on the end step to do it again. You've got some kind of value cards like Kogla and Dream Eater. I'm not a big fan of the Luminous Broodmoth, but Reb Jr. 55555, who I took this deck from online, has 2 Luminous Broodmoths. They are kind of cutesy, right? They're there to protect you against board wipes, is what I imagine. But yeah, it's a fun deck. It doesn't actually win as much as people seem to give it credit for, but it is really fun to play and get to do the thing when it goes off. So hopefully we get to do that. These are best of 1 matches, so we're not going to look at the sideboard here. But if you like this sort of content, if you want to see more of the companions, feel free to drop a subscription or leave a comment below. You can also find us on Twitter at MTG_ManaRocks. Would love to talk to you there. And let's go ahead and play some Gyruda. I will see you all in match number. All right, welcome. Are you guys ready for all of the Lurrus matchups? Because that's basically anything that anybody plays is a Lurrus deck. This is good. This is what you want. You want turn 2 Accelerant into turn 3 Migration Path, and that gives you turn 4 Gyruda. You can do it with 2-drop Accelerant, 2-drop Accelerant, but then you need to naturally hit 4 lands, 5 with Growth Spirals. But you have Wolf Willow Havens and stuff like that. You also desperately want to be on the play, which thankfully we are. But this is a nice hand. Now, the opponent, I've noticed a lot of these Lurrus decks, and most of decks in Standard that aren't like Yorion decks don't actually have a lot of interaction. Everybody's just trying to do their own little thing. You know, we don't interact that much. But there is a world where we cast Paradise Druid on turn 2. On turn 3, we cast Migration Path, and then they kill Paradise Druid because it's tapped to cast the path. So we got to watch out for that, I suppose. This is a Cyclone deck, which... Of course we would do this. We would do this. The Cyclone deck just preys on the Gyruda deck. Like, it completely crushes the Gyruda deck. Because the Gyruda deck puts so many cards in the graveyard that you actually end up putting so many Cyclone cards in your opponent's graveyard, and then they just Zenith Flare you out of the game. So we might have to switch things up here, because if we go for the Gyruda combo and we just go mill, 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 we're just going to die to their Zenith Flares here. Improbable Alliance is a cool one. So... change of plans. We're going to go less Gyruda and more aggro, I think. So I'm not going to cast Migration Path. I can also try to gain a bunch of life with these Thassas, take things really slowly, and try to get them with this Elite Guard Mage or just big creatures. Because most of their creatures end up sucking. Yeah, most of their creatures are stuff like this that really only care about cycling. Cycle, make a fairy. Basically, the only card that threatens us that much is Zenith Flare, although I suppose we have to watch out a little bit because they could make a bunch of fairies, right? So we can't go so wide we kill them. Maybe we try to mill them out or something like that. Gyruda can tend to mill people. And again, we're just going to play it slow and keep our life total as high as possible. I just don't want to die to my opponent's Zenith Flares when they haven't put any of the work in. Like, lose to my own combo, essentially. Shock. Alright, they're going to go for the out-fairying us part of the game. Which might work. It's a lot of migration paths. So, I guess let's attack with Guard Mage. They cannot make a fairy at instant speed here. They can start making 2 per turn, and again, we don't have interaction. Maybe I'm supposed to cast... Oh, I can't cast a Gyruda. I cannot cast a Gyruda. What I can do is Spark Double up Thassa, or Spark Double up this thing. I can also cycle here. Looking for a land. Now let's go ahead and Spark Double Elite Guard Mage. Hopefully that just hits a land. Go ahead and cycle, yep. Another Spark Double. This is an unfortunate, like, we were so close to doing the thing, but the fact that this is the deck that it is super annoying. Luminous Broodmoth's not too bad there. My opponent can also make, at this point, probably like 4 fairies per turn. If they cycle once on their turn and twice on my turn. Alright, that's going to gain them a bunch of life. So that's not bad. Shock, cycle, gain 2 every time they cycle, deal 1 to us, make 2 fairies. Not bad. Let's play Luminous Broodmoth here. Wow, we drew the playset of Migration Paths before we drew the 5th land. That's kind of absurd. Now we can attack with these pretty freely. If they want to block, that's fine. If they want to trade, they come back with the Luminous Broodmoth. Oh, that's not true. They have flying. They do not come back with the Luminous Broodmoth. That is incorrect. Well, that was not actually a good play. I forgot they have to not have flying to come back with the Broodmoth. Ooh, I actually like that they're killing the Spark Double instead of the Guard Mage. Sure, we'll kill that fairy. So I get to kill a 3rd fairy here, which is fine. It doesn't come back. This flickers Guard Mage. I'm trying to get them to draw so many cards that I can just play Gyruda and start milling them. Discard a Migration Path. That might not happen, though. 3 mana cycler, huh? Okay. They only have 2 cards left in hand. Remember, they do have Luris as a companion, which is not like a big deal or anything, but is a thing. Wow, we cannot draw the 6th land, can we? Because having Dream Eater up would be nice, too. Getting Thassa online would be pretty good. I guess I can go Growth Spiral here. Bound to have the 6th land on top here soon. Can cycle just as much as I can Growth Spiral. If they cycle twice, they make 2 fairies. They can block my flyers, so maybe I go Spark Double, make another flyer. Make what, a Luminous Broodmoth? That's probably fine. Just keep the pressure on them as much as possible. Alright. So I expect to go cycle, cycle. Okay. You're up. And we will blink Broodmoth. I love that animation. It's pretty sweet. They might just be holding Zenith Flares now. If they didn't cycle last turn, no, they've still got cycling. Alright, make some fairies. Is it Luris time yet? It is Luris time. And they can start playing these things, I suppose. Play more stingers, more healers. They're going to go for the life gain over the damage. That makes sense. We cannot draw this land. Are you kidding me? Alright, we're going to attack with both of our flyers for sure. They're at the point where they can actually start swinging at us. This was extremely unfortunate. I can't even cast Gyruda because I cannot draw the freaking land. I'm going to go for a growth spiral and hope to hit it. There we go. I'm going to pay 2 life. Let's go ahead and attack with our flyers. I assume they're going to see some chump blocks here. Yep. Just 1 chump block. That kind of makes sense. And then we're going to play a Paradise Druid. And we will blink Sparky here. And have it just come back in as a Luminous Broodmoth again. Alright, do your worst, opponent. Assume we're going to get another healer. Oh, that's a rescuer. Flourishing Fox. Well, this is pretty good. Every time they cycle, they gain 3 life and deal a damage to me. They make 2 fairies the first time they cycle each turn as well. Pretty strong. Don't know that I can keep up the value, though. Mm-hmm. I'm thinking of attacking here. Yeah, they can definitely get some damage in. They actually don't have that many cyclers in their graveyard. They have 6, so they can Zenith Flare for 6. Remember, that gains them life. We've already played their 1 card from the graveyard this turn. Oy, opponent, come on. They're gonna cast a Fox. Interesting. I guess that's just to start getting some value on board or get some sort of threat on board. I feel like they can play this game without attacking me, though. Eventually just get multiple stingers and stuff like that. Alright, we drew the dream, or we drew the 6 land finally. We can cast, or we can do the Dream Eater thing now. Alright, so we're gonna Dream Eater and then block or try to eat their other fairies. They might go for the Zenith Flare here on one of my creatures. Maybe my Dream Eater to prevent me from Thassa blinking it. And we will... Another Broodmoth seems okay, right? We're definitely going to put all these lands in the graveyard now. Some more flying threats seem fine. Dream Eater is going to blink one of the fairies, and we'll eat all their fairies here. Also put them down to 5, which isn't too big of a deal. And then we will play a tap land, go to end step, and attempt to blink our Dream Eater. See if they want to flare us. Opponent says, fine, it's okay. Let's bounce a Luris. These are okay as well. Just make him use mana on Loris again next turn. I don't know that that's that big of a deal. I don't want to really put a cycler back in their hand, so I guess that's fine. They've got plenty of mana, so it's not like it hurts them too much or anything. Yeah, we'll bounce it. And are they going to cycle on end step? They do. Gain 3, deal 2 to me. Just trying to beat them with flyers here. We've got to assume they're never going to run out of cyclers, right? That's all the deck is enough that you can always cycle. Resolve all. Gain a bunch of life. Deal 2 to me. Make some fairies. We're 100% losing this game, although we still have the option of trying to go for the Gyruda mill tactic. We haven't drawn any Gyrudas. We've drawn 2 spark doubles. So there's like decent odd. They have 34 cards left, so it's actually probably not very likely. And again, if we mill too many cards, they Zenith Flare us in response. See what they do here, though. All resolves always. I mean, this is a nice little showcasing for the cycling deck. Looks pretty sweet to me. They're almost back up to 20 life again. This is the problem with playing a 0 interaction deck. I mean, it's not that we have 0 interaction, it's that our interaction doesn't really stop them. They're keeping up Zenith Flare mana. Oh, this attack doesn't really do anything, though. Because these Paradise Druids just come back. With flying. Twice. Okay, another alliance. Nice. Right, we knew we were drawing the other Broodmoth. So let's say I go tap on the flyers. Attack for 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Still not quite enough. Just going to go Guard Mage into Broodmoth. Try to whittle down my opponent's library a little bit more here. Need to get a Plains. I don't think I have another Plains, actually. So I do need to tap a Paradise Druid here if I want to cast this Luminous Broodmoth. Which I think I do. They can't, or they could cycle into another cycler here, but I think this is a pretty safe attack. I somehow have less cards in my library than they do. Alright, so if they cycle again, they can make 3 instant speed blockers. Doesn't look like they cycled into a cycler. Also, notice they don't actually have a Zenith Flare. They haven't had a Zenith Flare in hand yet. Alright, we are Chumperinoing. Chapow, chapow, chapow. And playing a Broodmoth, I suppose. I could play Gyruda. I could go for Gyruda now. I mean, if they draw a Zenith Flare, we're basically dead anyway. I think I just go for it now. Alright, hit a Sparky. Now come in as a Gyruda. Go again. Hit a Kogla. Kogla as a 7/6. We'll go ahead and just hit a Stinger, I think. We might as well hit the things that are gaining them life. No, we'll hit Stinger. And then on end step, we can... Oh, I could have actually... That was bad. I could have fought the Flourishing Fox, had him trade off, and then have it come back with the Broodmoth. We will blink... Not even sure what we blink here. Guard Mage? I can just blink Gyruda again, right? Could blink... yeah, let's just do this. Let's go Kogla. Fight the Flourishing Fox. They trade, and then it comes back with Broodmoth. We can fight the other Stinger. Alright, flare me, bro. Yep, gain 3 life, make 3 tokens. Oh, they do have a flare in the graveyard, so that'll tell us 21. If they have a flare, we're just dead. So they can just fire it off if they have it. Ooh, okay, there goes the mana, though. So they're just trying to keep... Trying to stay alive as much as possible. Alright. Now what? We can tap 2 creatures. We go tap, tap, attack with everything. That's just what we're going to do. Tap your flyers. They have no cyclers left in hand either. They must have a land in hand. And I'll let you figure out the damage here. Oh, when Kogla attacks, destroy target artifact or enchantment and a defending player controls. Alright, forgot it did that. So block, block, block. They can block 4 things. I don't think they take lethal. I do get to eat their board. And then I can blink on end step. What do I blink? We know they're just going to go through all this and they're going to draw a Zenith Flare and kill us. Okay. So all those are dead. Play a Scryland. Dream Eater on top. No biggie. I guess there's no reason not to keep Dream Eater on top. What do I do here? Play Kogla and kill something. I don't think it matters. Yeah, it really doesn't matter what I blink. It matters that they don't draw a Zenith Flare. And you're up. Do it to it. Okay, that's a good sign. They can activate Improbable Alliance. 6 mana, draw a card. Ooh, draw 6. There we go. I can feel it. I can feel it in my bones. They just drew 4 cards. They've already played a land, though. So, you either got it or you don't. I'm waiting for them to good game me and then Zenith Flare me. I feel like that's what's going to happen. Okay, never mind. They can't flare me this turn because they don't have 4 mana. They've already played a land. They can cycle. No, they're just going all in, I guess. Yeah, they're just giving me the game now at this point. I was going to say they could cycle twice on their turn. Wow, I can't believe we won that. I don't know how many Zenith Flares they play, but they only hit 1. I feel like they got extremely unlucky. I feel like the Flare is the best card in that deck. You want 4, and if they had 4, then 3 of them were in the bottom, like 10 cards of their library. So we were very lucky to win. We didn't really do the Gyruda thing, but we just played a bunch of enormous creatures and outvalued them. I don't know how we won that, but we did, and that's going to lead us straight into match number 2, so we'll see you there. Alright, how's it going, everybody? We're back for match number 2 against Yorion. Can't win against Yorion. Yorion's always a control deck. Control decks beat this deck super hard. I guess we've got a bunch of Gyrudas. I'm still going to keep this hand. We've got the turn 2 Accelerant. If we draw another mana ramper, then we should be fine. Although this deck doesn't really do too much. Our opponent is Laleet-kun. We're on the draw as well. Man. Yorion is incredibly good. It's funny because the Yorion decks basically always beat you without casting Yorion, so it's like, are the companions really that busted? This deck, you almost always have to cast Gyruda to win. Alright, opponent. Took a long time keeping that hand and a long time playing your land on turn 1. What's the deal? Ugh. Huzzah. Just keep jamming a bunch of Gyrudas. I'll keep it on top. Maybe that's wrong. I'm looking for mana accelerants, but if I can just go Gyruda, one of them will stick eventually, right? That's what I tell myself. Let's go in Wolf Willow Haven up the Temple of Enlightenment and pass. If they have like a turn 3 Teferi, they could bounce the Wolf Willow Haven if they want. Uro. Okay. I don't mind playing against an Uro deck. I mean, if Uro sticks, that's going to be a problem, but at least it's less control-y and more Uro-y. I don't know. 4 mana. No play this turn or next turn. That can't be good news. Yeah, I should not have played that Gyruda. Alright, if they bounce Wolf Willow Haven, that doesn't actually change anything I'm going to do this turn. It just basically draws them a card, and having Teferi on board is good with Yorion. Alright, we drew every Gyruda. We have all of the Gyrudas. So we'll go Wolf Willow Haven again. And we will play a Hallowed Fountain and pass. And we'll just start trying to stick Gyrudas next turn. If we can flood the board, I think the only real interactive card they have against that is Shatter the Storm. But it's a little problematic because we can't really, quote-unquote, go off, given that we drew all of the Gyrudas, right? And one of the Spark Doubles. So it's very unlikely we're going to be able to flood the board. Plus, we're going to feel their graveyard for Uro. Yeah, this might not be the best. They have 5 cards in hand. See if they go for Yorion here. Nope. Alright, let's just jam Gyruda number 1. Guess I should do the one from the companion zone, I suppose. White, blue, doesn't really matter. Alright, Gyruda number 1, go. Do the one they know about. They can play Neutralizes. Oh, we hit a Spark Double, that's good. Archon of Sun's Grace, wow. Alright, let's spark it up. Go again. We hit Thassa. Oh yeah, they have Tamios too. And we'll attempt to go to end step here. Opponent's going to Omen of the Hunt. I mean, I get it, because Yorion, but let's blink original Gyruda. Go again. I see a Dream Eater. And I don't think I want to bounce Teferi. We will go 1, 2. I don't want to draw this Spark Double. I want to mill it, right? So I think it doesn't matter what my top card is, really, as long as I leave something above the Spark Double. So we'll do that. I mean, there's no reason to bounce anything, right? I could bounce the Omen of the Hunt. Bouncing Teferi seems actively bad. It's a May ability, so I have to target. I'm going to leave that in play. They have Archon, so they can easily just cast another enchantment and get some Pegasuses. Pegases? I don't know. Alright, that was a pretty good turn. They bring back an Uro that's beatable. Elspeth Conquers Death, beatable. Multiple removal spells, not as beatable. Agent of Treachery. Wow. Okay. Agent of Treachery is pretty sweet. Didn't see that one coming. Alright, so we know there's a Spark Double on top. We have a Spark Double in hand as well. We could Dream Eater our Gyruda back to our hand and just attack. And then we know we're going to hit a Spark Double, so we still have action. I can go... No, I can't Growth Spiral first. Alright, let's go ahead and just Dream Eater my Gyruda back to my hand. Surveil. I think I want to be careful about milling, so I'm actually going to keep these things on top. Alright, bounce Gyruda. And then I'll attack their Teferi with Dream Eater. I'll attack them with the other two big ones. Play a land, go to end step, do the thing. Oh, they can Yori on this agent, though. Oh, actually, you know what? What if I go... What if I just blink a Dream Eater here and bounce their agent? They replay agent? No, that's actually good, right? I'm going to blink a Dream Eater. That way they can't get Yori on for the agent. I'm just going to bounce the agent, because if they use their whole next turn to replay agent, I can Spark Double a Dream Eater, bounce it back, whatever they took. Still just keeping everything on top here. Bounce your agent back to your hand. Yes, I will. Because I don't think they're going to be able to afford to tap out 7 mana to replay this Agent of Treachery. Should have probably kept a 4-drop on top, like another Spark Double. Yeah, that was bad. I should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It doesn't matter. I can't double spell, really. Alright, looks like we're going for Uro. Okay. Gain some life. That's pretty relevant. Put a Scry land into play. And then maybe we go for Yorion here. I'm going to blink Uro and gain some life. I've got the Thassa tap ability as well. Elspeth Conquers Death. Killing... Has to kill Thassa, right? I mean, if they don't kill Thassa, I can just tap their Uro. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I think I've got it either way. If they take Thassa, or if they don't take Thassa, I tap and attack with the other 3. Or, yeah, this is 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. I can also just Spark Double a Dream Eater. And attack. Big chunky creatures. Gets it done against a Yorion deck. Nice. That was pretty nice. One through a Euro and Elspeth Conquered Death. Teferi. There was an Agent of Treachery there. That was pretty sweet. I guess they weren't playing a bunch of counter spells or they didn't draw them. That is kind of the quote-unquote issue with the Orion deck, is you play a bunch of powerful cards, but your deck's a little more inconsistent, so you don't always have the right answer at the right time. Anyway, that gives us our second win. We'll play a couple more here. This will be match 3 coming up next. See you there. All right, welcome back. We're here for match number 3. I think we've got a hand that we need to mulligan here. We've got 1 Accelerant, but not even like the 3rd land to put into play with it. And then a bunch of clunky cards. This is somehow worse. Just mulligan. Mulligan again. Wow, this is bad too. All right. We'll put some Thassas on the bottom here. I guess I can go Thassa plus Gyruda. This is not a game win in hand. Our opponent doesn't have a companion. They also mulliganed. But we'll see. Maybe we find some 2-mana accelerants. We're just looking for acceleration, not looking for actual mana here. I've got 4 lands. Looking for Paradise Druid, Wolfwillow Haven, Fibblethip. Is this going to be a Planeswalker deck with no companion? Okay. Wow. Okay. This is Not a game-winning strat, by the way. I guess we can cast a turn 4 Luminous Broodmoth. That can pressure a Planeswalker. Might just go for the turn 6 Gyruda. I guess we gotta raise the alarm. Oh, this is a Winota deck. So they're gonna play Winota and attack and get a bunch of Agent of Treacheries, and then we can just concede and play another real game here. If we don't freeze. Yeah, Charming Prince, sure, get something else, blah, blah, blah. All right, we'll play another game. We can't win from this position. It doesn't even matter what they hit off the other things. We don't have sweepers. They get to keep Winota. We'll play some real Magic here. I guess that wasn't real Magic, right? Maybe I get Gyruda and they hit Agent of Treachery. That's got to be a bad matchup for us, like a real bad matchup. What'll this be? Match number 4 coming up? Yeah, so 2-1. Not that record really matters here. Computer's about to start going crazy, so we'll hear it in match number 4 coming up. All right, we're back. We've got a fine hand on the play here. No companion on the other side. We do have double growth spiral, but we actually need to hit a 4th land here for the migration path. So this is a turn 4 Gyruda if we draw a 4th land. Against red-white, no companion. I wonder if it's another Winota deck. Alright, that gives us migration path next turn, turn 4 Gyruda. Let's see. Oh, Knights. Sky Knight Vanguard. Well, that's a little disgusting. We're going to go migration path. I feel like we should be pretty good against just a little creature deck. Blue. I guess I'll get another white source. It doesn't matter. I'm going to migration path for the other 2 anyway. Go get a blue and a green here. White's not as important for this deck, but I have cast Luminous Broodmoth, so I guess getting double white is fine if you have the option to do so. You definitely need double blue, but that's about it. There's Kogla in here too, but whatever. Alright, let's see what happens here. Inspiring Veteran, so I'm going to take 2. Oh, I'm going to take 3. But now we get to play Gyruda. And I guess I can Temple first and see if there's something worth hitting. That's got to be at least, as a failsafe, fine, right? We get to mess up their scry, too. I don't know if they scried on top or bottom. Alright, there's Sparky. We'll get another Gyruda here. We hit Kogla. Oh, Aurelia. I'm just going to get Kogla and kill their flying creature. And you're up. We have a Spark double in hand. Opponent scoops. Alright, that's the Gyruda thing. That's the Gyruda thing. Turn 4. 13, 20 power in play. Kill a creature. Alright. So, that's Gyruda for you. Let's go ahead and look at the deck one more time. The Keruga deck is a better deck, right? Because it's Jeskai Fires. Jeskai Fires is a good, well-established deck. This I would not recommend because it's super glass cannon, right? There are cards that just shut this down, especially in best of 3. Things like Hushbringer. There are times where you play Gyruda and they kill it in response. You can't do the Spark double thing. And you see that sometimes your hands just don't have the right configuration of mana, and you have to end up like casting Gyruda on turn 6, and then it's just not that good, right? You have a little bit of interaction in your creatures. My recommendation with the list that I actually played today is I would ditch these Luminous Broodmoths for sure. They're just not relevant. The whole, I think, idea of having Luminous Broodmoth in this deck is to protect from a sweeper so that all your Gyrudas come back and stuff like that, but it's really not worth it unless you love the animation. I would look for something in the 2-drop slot that's maybe a little bit more interactive. Maybe even just go up another Wolf Willow Haven or something along those lines. And I don't know. I just don't like the Luminous Broodmoth. Charming Prince, maybe even though that's a little bit heavier on the white requirement. But yeah, this deck plays out really fun. It's just very one-sided, very one-note. And it doesn't do so well against some of the other decks. Like, it's bad, actively bad, to have this strategy against the Cyclone deck because of Zenith Flare. It's not great against Loris decks because they use their graveyard, stuff like that. It's pretty bad against control decks because your opponent sees Gyruda, they know exactly what you're doing, and you can just kind of hold up counter magic until your opponent goes for the Gyruda and stop them. So if you're looking for a fun deck, I do recommend this one. If you're looking for a good competitive deck or you're playing in a tournament, I would not play this deck. keep it to the fun stuff. But that's going to go ahead and do it. That's our second companion down, Keruga and Gyruda in the books. We'll see what we get next time when you join us for part number 3. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed these videos, and we'll see more companions soon. My name's Timothy with Manorox. Subscribe below for more content like this. Find us on Twitter at MTG_Manorox. That's going to go and do it. Thanks for watching. See you next time.